Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning. We want to welcome you to Green Valley Baptist Church. We have an opportunity to host this for our community. I'm John. I get to be the senior pastor of this church. This great church to be a part of, and I won't do any more commercial than that. But we're glad you're here today. We're looking forward to this. We've been advertising it across the community and in our church, and we're glad to see you. Just a little bit of FYI, if you need a restroom while we're here, we have restrooms out through that open door, men and women there, and also down this hallway here, men and women there. So feel free to that. So we're glad to have Green Valley Area Council and our SAV here to lead us through this great informational program.
Thank you. So I have the honor of serving the Green Valley community as the president of the Green Valley Council. And I recognize a lot of homeowners here who are nodding their heads. This program is one of but many that we offer, educational, informative, safety-focused for our community. The council serves 80% of the homeowners associations in Green Valley. It's a voluntary membership. But that membership gives you your voice at every layer of government in the state of Arizona and at the federal level. We advocate for you, your safety, your security, the community that is provided for you here is what we advocate for. If you are not a member, I urge you to go to your board of directors and ask why. Because if you are not a member, you are being denied your voice. And I think everybody's voice, it is imperative that your voice is heard. So, that being said, I'd like to thank again Pastor John and Pastor Dave, because this would not happen when we talked with our good friends at KGVY Radio, who is the sponsor, one of the sponsors of this event. And when I talked with Commander Lindeman, who is with the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers, we said we need a little bigger space. And Pastor John is also a volunteer with the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers, and he said, I have a space. Pastor Dave. And you should. But he said, we will make this happen. And that's why we are all seated here today. So I'm welcoming all of you. Most of you, I've heard, are from Green Valley, but the pastor also said, we've got a couple congregants here who came all the way from Tucson. So we hope you take this information back to your community and let them know that there are tools that they can use that protect themselves. So, without further ado, our agenda, we are going to be looking at, first of all, what my cohort here, David, is the executive director of the Green Valley Council. So he put this program together when I said, here's what we need. David went to work on his computer, and we generated this program that we will be talking to you about is mortgage deed fraud. And it's going to focus on that, local targeting, the signs of home title fraud, how to protect yourself, some advocacy, and some resources that you can use. So, show of hands, how many of you own your own home? Ooh, yes. How many of you have an unencumbered deed? Your mortgage is paid off. Okay. How many of you may have your home in an LLC? As you've been working through the distribution of your wealth, you might have been advised by your financial advisor or attorney to put your home in an LLC. How many of you? Okay, so a few of you. Every person in this room who owns a home is at risk. Whether it's the mortgage is unencumbered, if you do have a mortgage, you have a bit more safety, but even in an LLC, your home is at risk. You can lock your phone, you can lock your credit, you cannot lock your mortgage deed. The most valuable asset most people have sitting in this room is your home. You cannot lock it. All you can do in the great state of Arizona, and I'm pretty sure in all 49 other states, is put a flag on your deed, on your property. So I'll say this for the first time. Recorder.pima.gov is the website you need to be aware of. Yes, ma'am? Nothing's safe. There is no lock that you can put on your mortgage. And SAV will go into this in more depth. So again, recorder.pima.gov. David will speak to that. That is where you go if you are a property owner in Pima County to put a flag on your property. And I'm here to tell you it works. When we found out in October that deed fraud is an issue, that it is prevalent here in this community, we are a targeted community. And the SAV will speak more to this, but the Sheriff's Department, law enforcement, all consider us an at-risk targeted community because we're an aging population, but we fit all of the demographics to be scammed and to be frauded. So the purpose of this program for you is to give you some tools that not only you take, but when you can talk to your neighbor, you can talk to the widower or the widow next door or down the block who is lonely and who might be reaching out and who is a prime target for fraud and scam. But you can reach out to your neighbor and say, whoa, 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 let's wait a minute. Let's take a step back here because I don't think this is legitimate, and we have resources here in the community to help and to support us. So, home title fraud, it's a real estate scam. And it typically involves identity theft. The goal is to steal the home title and put it in their name as quickly as possible. It's typically done through a quitclaim deed. That's the easiest way, a warranty or a grant deed. Now, I can attest to how this works, how the flag works at Pima County, because last October, when this situation came to our knowledge, and it happened at one of our president's meetings, one of our presidents stood up and said, "What's the council doing about mortgage deed fraud?" And David and I looked at each other and went, "What are you talking about?" And her deed had been stolen. Someone had identity thefted her, transferred the deed, and fortunately she detected it and was able to hire the attorney to fight and get her deed back. Now, Pima County will tell you that if you have to go, if you are scammed and you hire the attorney, you will get your property back. You will pay to do it. And that's why we are here. That's why we are taking action, because the Green Valley Council believes that no one should have to pay to get what is rightfully theirs back in their possession. So we have started a petition, and we will be sending 2,000 signatures to the state, asking them to advocate and initialize some legislation that puts a lock on your deed. So again, this is typically through quitclaim deeds. So just one little bit of my story. So back in October, I went, oh my goodness, we better go to the county recorder's office. It was very easy to do. I actually did it on my cell phone. I'd recommend if you have a desktop or a laptop, do it there because it's easier to read the screen. But you can go to the county recorder's office, And there's a fraud panel on that homepage, and you click on that, and it takes you through all the steps to register your property with your name, your spouse's name, so that then you get a flag. Didn't think anything of it, and a month ago, my husband and I did a quick claim deed for a property lot that we acquired. Took nothing, took 15 minutes to record it, to record the deed, and then we worked with David to actually do the recording at the recorder's office. 24 hours later, I was notified, all red flagged, by the recorder that your name has appeared in a deed transaction on a piece of property. So please go to recorder.pima.gov and register your property to be flagged. It's the only thing you can do right now. There are companies out there, Title Fraud does the same thing. It will cost you. And there's another company that approached me last month, Equity Something, and for $159 a year and $12.99 a month, they will do exactly what I am telling you to do for yourself. Some people may feel more comfortable going to Title Alert, paying the money, and that's perfectly fine. I kind of would rather have the money in my pocket to go out and get a burger with my husband. So, the localized targeting that we are seeing here in the community are the homes that are unencumbered. So if you don't have a mortgage, there is nothing standing between you and a fraudster who goes in, because remember, everything that rests at Pima County in the recorder's and the assessor's office is public record. Anybody can go online. So the days when we got our first home and toddled down to the county office building and they brought out the ledger and you had to provide proof of who you were, those days are long gone. The information is there and it is accessible, and it is up to you as a property owner to make sure that it's protected. So houses unencumbered, homes that are in a trust, and if it's your non-primary property. So those of you that this home here, or you know somebody that this home in Green Valley is a second home, and even though they say, well, I'm not a voter, it doesn't matter. You pay, if you own a property in Green Valley, you pay Pima County property tax, whether you live here year-round or not. And if you are a seasonal homeowner, register your property at recorder.pima.gov. I've harped. Now David's going to come in and give you a little bit more information before we turn it over to our pals.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for hosting us again. We're very appreciative of the opportunity. So talking a little bit more, like I said, home title fraud, one of the things that I always like to reiterate, we know that so many folks in Green Valley come from other parts of the country, a lot from the Midwest, Pacific Northwest, and you know, you're used to things being done a certain way. I can tell you, Arizona is completely different than anything you're used to. The way we do our policies, our ordinances, our state statutes are completely different. And I mentioned this because one of the I received an inquiry from a resident yesterday here in Green Valley who was concerned about home title fraud. And their question was, well, don't title companies have a huge role in this? And don't title companies, aren't they the first line of defense? And I told them, where you're from, yes. In the state of Arizona, absolutely not. Anybody, and when I mean anybody can record a document with your information. Like Debbie said, can look up your information. All it takes is a few clicks of a computer. I can look at your property. I can look at your name. I can look at your tax history. I can look at, are there any ordinance violations? And most importantly, I can look at any recording documents that have ever been recorded against your property. That also includes your signatures. That also includes the name of the notary who notarized the documents when you acquired your home. All of this is unfortunately public record, and it's available at just a couple clicks of a computer, and anybody with any technological capability, I mean, you don't really have to have a high level of technological sophistication to do so. And if you ever are curious about some of the easiest ways to do it, there's a resource offered through Pima County. It's called Pima Maps. You can Google Pima Maps and it'll take you. It's called the GIS interface, Geographic Information System interface. Find your home, click on it, and then bring up all the information that's available on your home and the people who own your home. I mean, it's kind of shocking to see how that comes. So, like I said, Arizona, completely different, and we don't have those layers of protection that other states have already enacted, which is why we're really pushing the legislative advocacy part. So, without further ado, so talking about some of the signs of home title fraud, like we said, the whole idea for the fraudsters is to basically put the title in their name as quickly as possible because they're really hoping that you don't notice. If they're good at it, they can be in and out within a few weeks, and they can commit their secondary frauds. On the second slide, we had some of the secondary frauds. So once they have possession of your home title, they're going to look for a quick refinance. They will put a mortgage on your property if there is no mortgage, or if there is a small mortgage, they'll put on a second mortgage. They might take a HELOC. Then they do this before you notice. They pocket the cash, and then they're out. The other thing they like to do is they might move for a quick sale of a property. And again, you know, just the Arizona market, we know it's growing. We know the market here is pretty strong in Arizona. So it's very easy for a fraudster who steals your title to put it on the market. And commonly what you'll see is they'll price it at a very ridiculous price, way below what the comparables are in the community, because to them, they don't really care because it's all profit. They didn't pay for the house. So they sell the property, they're gone. The other thing, rental fraud. Rental fraud is something we hear a lot about. It's when somebody rents a house that they don't lawfully own. They make quite a bit of money, especially in hot rental markets like the city of Tucson, other areas in Maricopa County, where they can actually take your property, list it for rent, and then just basically tell anybody, hey, if you want to rent this property, you know, we ask for a $10,000 down payment or last month's rent, whatever, send me the check, we'll give you the keys, great. So you send them the check thinking that you legitimately rented this property, you show up, the homeowner's still in there. So there's a lot they can do. So again, signs, new loan bills. If you don't have a mortgage and all of a sudden you get mortgage papers showing up in your mail, big red flag. Or like I said, if you do a second mortgage or a HELOC that you know you didn't take out the HELOC and all of a sudden you're getting notice of it, that's a big red flag that somebody may have taken your title. In a home equity line of credit, it's basically borrowing against the home equity that you've acquired. And so, like I said, for fraudsters is if I can take possession to somebody's property and I can take out, it's essentially a loan against the property, I pocket the money, I'm gone, and you're left with the mess. You're still liable. Foreclosure notices. Again, if you receive a notice of foreclosure when you know your payments, your taxes, and your HOA dues are up to date, it's a good sign that somebody probably may have stolen your home title deed. They took out a mortgage, and of course, they're not going to make the payments for you. They just took the money and ran, so all of a sudden, there's a delinquency because those mortgage payments are not being made because the fraudster is obviously not going to pay it. Bill changes. If you have certain bills, like your Pima County tax, your mortgage statements that you're accustomed to getting in the mail on a regular basis, all of a sudden, if they stop showing up, that's a big red flag. That means that somebody probably took your home title, put it in their name, and now they're receiving that correspondence where they live or where at their address, not yours. Again, stopped automatic payments. If you have a mortgage and you do automatic payments and they stop all of a sudden, red flag. Credit report, and I know the SAV does a great piece on credit report, but it's always good to just kind of keep an eye on your credit. Again, you know, especially if you're doing a HELOC, they're going to do a credit check real quick on you, and that, you know, all of a sudden if you get that credit inquiry and then you know you didn't take out the loan, that means somebody probably took out the loan for you in your name. So that's a big red flag as well. And again, it's always just a good idea to monitor your credit. I know most banks now offer you that as a free service. You can go on your bank account online dashboard interface. In most cases, it'll have your credit score, and then you can click on it and it'll show all your inquiries. It's always good just monthly, or I do it weekly, but just check on your credit score and make sure that there are no credit inquiries to being taken out in your name that you didn't initiate. Property inquiries, this is one of the biggest ones that we see here in our area as far as red flags when it comes to home title fraud, is all of a sudden realtors are like calling you and they're like, oh, hey, we're interested in the house that you have for sale, or we're interested in the house that you have for rent. If you didn't put your house for sale and if you weren't renting your house and all these real estate agents are calling you about that, huge red flag. That means somebody probably is renting it or put the advertisement out without your knowledge. And again, big sign of home title fraud. How to protect yourself. Number one, we always recommend check the status of your property now, today, immediately. There's a number of ways you can do it. We have some websites that you can go on just to make sure that everything is correct in your name. There's nothing again, untoward. Again, I know Debbie hit on this quite a bit, but you can register for the Pima County Recorder's Fraud Notify Program. It's a free service provided by Pima County, and it's recorder.pima.gov/fraud notify. You can flag your Social Security number with the Social Security Administration. Again, we say always monitor your credit. Like Debbie said, you cannot freeze your home title currently in the state of Arizona, but you can freeze your credit. Continuously monitor your mail. Again, we talked about if you're used to getting Pima County property tax at a certain time, if you're used to getting a mortgage coupon at a certain time, and all of a sudden these things stop showing up at your house, concern. And then, of course, remember, there is currently no conduit that allows you to proactively lock your home title the way you do your credit. So if somebody solicits you and says, hey, we have this service where we can lock your home title, that's not correct. There is no mechanism for that. A lot of the services, like Debbie said, that you'll see is basically they're offering you the same service that Pima County offers for free. They're just charging you for it. It's basically if a document is recorded in your name, they will notify you. And that's basically what Pima County does. So I'll just briefly go again, advocacy and outreach. We're really pressing for legislative change, and that's what it's going to take. It's not a Pima County thing. It's a state of Arizona thing that it's going to take legislative action. But I mean, we have certain options that we're looking at up to and including actually locking your home title. So. And then lastly, I know real quick, we have some website resources. If you haven't been on the Pima County Sheriff's Department at pimasheriff.org, they have a great website, great resources, community resources. They have great how-to guides, like what do I do if there's a barking dog in my neighborhood? What do I do if I have suspicious vehicles in my neighborhood? They also have interactive crime mapping, where you can see actually where documented crimes were in real time on a map. So it's kind of cool. The GVSAV has a wealth of resources, including their Scam Squad. I can't really, promote Scam Squad enough. They do a fantastic job, and they're a wealth of information. Our website, gvcouncil.org, any inquiries, any resources, anything that even falls outside of fraud and scam, just general information about the community, please contact us. The Pima County Recorder's Office, again, we've hit a lot on that. The Federal Trade Commission, where you can report high-level fraud at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And the last link, I know it's kind of a very long URL, but basically that is a link to Experian, and they have a nice how-to guide. If you want to freeze your credit, it'll tell you how to do it with the 3 credit reporting bureaus and kind of walks you through the steps to do so. It's always something to consider. It's always a good resource. So you can follow that link, and it'll basically walk you through the process of freezing your credit. So I know we went through a lot of information. Is there anything we can answer real quick before we hand it over to the SAV? Yes, ma'am. No, but we unfortunately didn't bring in a lot of handouts, but if you want to contact our, I'm sorry, the question was, do we have these resources available? Do we have the presentation available? Do we have the websites available? You can contact our office, gvcouncil.org, and we will be happy to furnish you with a PowerPoint, with any documentation, with any resources. So just either stop in, we're at 555 North La Cañada Drive, or you can call us or email us, and we'll be happy to provide those for you. Or we can provide it to Pastor John or Pastor David, and they can disseminate that information. I'm sorry, ma'am, you? Oh, sorry, 1 second. question? Right there, kind of in the center.
Who was asking you where? Oh, okay, yeah. So it related to your...
I just asked for the contact number or the contact for the Pima maps.
It's literally, you can just Google Pima Maps.
It's
if
not
you,
.org or .gov.
No,
or,
just, well, you can Google Pima Maps. Here, let me bring up the
okay.
URL. If you want the URL, I can get you the URL in a second. It's gis.pima.gov. Yeah. Okay. Ma'am in the red.
Let me get it.
I see you are Green Valley Sarita Council.
We are not. We are specifically the Green Valley Council. The town of Sahuarita has their own municipal government. We work with the town of Sahuarita, but we are completely distinct. We specifically serve the Green Valley community.
So is any of this refers to me?
Oh, absolutely. It's anybody who lives in Pima County is a potential target. So this is county-wide, this is statewide. Like I said, the emphasis with Green Valley, like we talked about, is because we are a targeted community. We are a special class. We are completely demographic in the town of Sahuarita. Just not to go into too much detail, but our median age in Green Valley is 73 versus in the town of Sahuarita, their median age is 37. So they're at a much lower risk for this specific type of fraud, just based off of the fact that, for example, because they're on the younger demographic side, most of them still have a mortgage. So it's harder to really go through this process with somebody who has a mortgage. The whole idea with home title fraud, the reason why they're attacking unencumbered homes or homes in a trust or seasonal homes is because they're looking at homes that don't have a lot of eyeballs on them, that aren't scrutiny. Because most of the time when you pay off your home, you're like, okay, I paid it off. I don't have to worry about it. I can just enjoy, my years. I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm not looking at my home title records. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Same thing if you're seasonal. If you're from Duluth, Minnesota, and you only come to Green Valley, your Green Valley home, like 2 or 3 months out of the year, your primary focus is your home back in Minnesota. So again, not a lot of scrutiny. And then again, homes in a trust, the same thing, because a lot of people, they're like, it's a lot easier. I want my beneficiaries to be set up, my children or my grandchildren. I'm going to put this in a trust, and then it becomes kind of out of sight, out of mind. I don't have to worry about it, especially if I have an executor on that trust. It's kind of their responsibility now. So that's what they're looking for, is homes that don't have a lot of eyeballs on them, homes that aren't really being paid attention to. And that's what makes Green Valley a very unique target. Ma'am in the pink. Oh, sorry, we have one more.
Just a quick question. When you lock your credit,
Yes.
do you have to unlock it when you wrote down? So that's just
Short
it,
answer,
that's for
yes.
your-
Long answer, the SAV does a
Yes.
very good portion on that, so they will go into great depth on that.
So
But
you
yes,
can-
that's kind of the generalized idea, and that's really what we would like to, part of what we would like to see with home title fraud, is to make sure that I know that my home title fraud, nothing can be recorded against it until I decide it's time for me to sell my house. But like I said, that currently does not exist in the state of Arizona. That opportunity, that option does not currently exist. So I know we've taken a lot of time. I know there's a lot of questions. Like I said, we're happy to follow up, contact our office. Yes, and more. And again, the SAV will go into much more detail on things. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Again, Pastor John, Pastor David, thank you. We can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Steve Swallows. I am the Scam Squad manager, and with my helper, Robert Clark, we do a lot of these presentations throughout Green Valley. We love coming. We're glad to see you. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. So maybe hold all your questions to the end. I noticed a couple questions that came up. We're going to go into detail with them. So again, if you have any questions, please ask at the end, and we'll touch on any questions you might have. One thing I wanted to note is that we were sending around a clipboard, and some of you may have put your name on it in an email. That is for we're not trying to target anybody in here. What we're trying to do is offer up what we call an e-blast. An e-blast is something that we produce a couple times a month, and it comes out and will be some little tips and tricks and things that are happening in our community. And so if you would like to get that e-blast, it'll come directly from the SAV Scam Squad. And I think it's pretty good information. I'm the one that produces it. So I think it's good information. So again, thank you to Debbie and David. They went into great detail. We'll talk just briefly, like 2 slides of fraud, deed fraud. But I think between them and our couple little things that we talk about, you'll get a good picture and of what's going on in that world. But as we've already talked about, we're going to go ahead and start. Our phone number is on your handout that we gave you. I encourage you to call us. We have folks in the office manned Monday through Friday, currently 9 to 3. Starting in May, it'll be 9 to noon. I encourage you to call us if you think you're being scammed in some way or maybe getting scammed. Give us a call, come into the office. If you know that you're being scammed and you're being kind of harassed, let us know that too. Because what we do is Robert and I will then take that information and we present it back to you. So everything that we talk about in this presentation today is things that are happening in Green Valley today. Okay? It's not things that happened a month or a year ago or 2 years ago. It's things that are happening, what we're seeing, and we in turn are giving that information back to you. It said up there that number of reports are down. I think that's a misnomer. I think it's more, you guys are a little more smart. And how many times you get a text and it says you got a toll tax or you got a parking violations and things like that, and you just delete it. Well, that is a scam in its own right. Somebody came to me yesterday and it had the violation, little picture of the violation on his phone. And I thought, well, I've never seen that one before. So I called them for him, and of course it went to nothing. It went to no voice at all. So the bad news is the losses are skyrocketing. So ones that they do get scammed are pretty good sized numbers, and we're going to kind of touch on some of those as we go through. These will be the things we talk about. We're going to start off talking about artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about call spoofing, voice cloning, and those are the kind of the things that scammers use, their tools that they use nowadays. And then we're going to go into scams that are happening here in Green Valley. We'll touch on money mules. I'll kind of explain what a money mule is, and then we'll go to some tips and tricks of stopping fraud. This young lady, her dad was part of a romance scam. And what I'd like you to kind of focus on is the scammer, the actual scammer. She's blacked out, but listen to her voice.
My father was single. He turned to the internet for, dating and met Mary Blake 123 at yahoo.com.
I had people from Nigeria contact me to create fake accounts on dating sites like POF and create email accounts to match what they are, the kind of profile that they want to be on.
He started just corresponding with this person, and she essentially made him believe that she was abroad in England working on a project. She got to know my dad a little bit in his background. He used to do a lot of construction.
It's easy because these people are looking for someone to trust, and this kind of relationship could be short-term or long-term.
They kind of built this love relationship online over multiple years and would continuously ask for money, and he would wire money. By the time I got involved, hundreds of thousands had already been taken. I think the impact was up to about 700,000 or more.
So Dad was taken for $700,000. The reason I wanted you to pay attention to the actual scammer is her voice. Did it sound like it may have been from another country, somewhere not in the United States particularly? Well, 80 to 85% of all scams originate from overseas. So what does that mean to us? That means it's out of the jurisdiction of the FBI, the FTC, the FCC, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, the Arizona State. So it's out of everybody's control. It's out of their jurisdiction. So that's why they do it. And is because they're basically untouchable in that regard.
So this is my part. I'm the retired educator, so he makes me do this. How many of you have seen our presentation before? No? Okay, great. So you guys can't talk. Okay. For the rest of you, this is a pop quiz. You didn't think you would be tested today, but you will be. How many of these people are real? Half of them? A third of them? What do you think? Smart crowd, Steve. Not even a pop quiz. Absolutely none of those people are real. Every last one of those folks were computer generated. They have everything that you would expect on a real human face, pimples, gray hairs, wrinkles, etc. But all of those were done by computer. In 2014, that's what our technology was able to do. 2019, that was our capability. And here we are in 2026. How many of you saw the Super Bowl? If you watched all those commercials during the Super Bowl, do you realize that most of them were AI? So our computers can create things in seconds now. And not only that, the stories that the hackers will use or the scammers will use, they can create those in seconds as well. I can get on the computer and say I'm a 76-year-old divorcee. I have 2 properties. I'm worth about $1 million. I'm looking for companionship. Would somebody contact me? And they can make that up on a computer and use that script and call every last one of us. These are just some of the platforms that they use. There's many more now. And if you're into social media, for those of you who have Facebook pages or LinkedIn or any platform such as that, you are susceptible. Anybody who's hooked up to the internet is susceptible. I share my story. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing now is because I was hacked on Facebook, and I was actually blessed. I'm in the church, so I can actually say that. I was blessed because what I've learned to do every morning when I wake up, I get on my computer, I check my bank account, my credit card accounts, and everything. That's the first thing I do every morning. Literally, before I came here, that's what I did. This particular morning, I decided to go on Facebook just to see what was going on. So I went into my Facebook page, I was perusing around, and all of a sudden, I got booted out. So I tried to log back in, my password wouldn't work. I changed my password, 2 minutes later, booted out again, password wouldn't work. Happened about 3 or 4 times. Then I'm low tech, so I said, somebody must be on my computer looking at me. That's what I thought. And so I called Apple. I didn't have Apple call me, and we'll be talking about that. If someone calls you to help you with your computer, that's probably a big red flag. I called Apple. I spoke to a very intelligent young lady, smarter than me. And I said, I think somebody's in my computer seeing everything I do. And I gave her authority to go into my computer. She went in. She perused around. She said, who's John? John who? John, you authorized him to use your computer. I don't know a John. That's your hacker right there. Can you get rid of John? Yes, I can. And she got rid of John and gave me some devices to help me protect myself in the future. But I was so spooked, I went on and bought a brand new computer. And the reason I say I was blessed is because imagine if I had went into my bank account, my pension, my credit cards. He was seeing every keystroke. Every time I changed my password, he saw everything I was doing. I was creating passwords even my wife doesn't know, my dog's middle name. I was creating things nobody could think of, and 2 minutes later, he was right into my account. So again, if you have social media platforms, you have to be very, very careful who you friend, who you allow to become part of your group, because they have access.
Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about caller ID spoofing. Everybody's got a cell phone, right? Everybody's got a cell phone. You get a phone call, it says Pima County Sheriff's Department with the phone number on it. Is it really Pima County Sheriff's Department?
It's known as spoofing, when scammers mask phone numbers in your caller ID display so an incoming call looks like it's from a familiar number. Spoofers often use your area code, so a call may seem like it's from a neighbor, a local company, or even a government agency. They can get you at hello, even if no one's on the line. Sometimes scammers use spoofed robocalls to see if your line is live so they can target you later. Or you may be prompted to push a button on your phone to hear an important message. Don't do it. It may result in fraudulent charges. You may hear a recording or a live operator or some combination following a scam script designed to confuse you. The caller may already know a lot about you and may try to use that to fool you into giving them more. Keep your guard up. If a caller starts asking you for your PIN or a password to a bank account, or if you feel pressured or bullied, hang up. If you want to call back, use a customer service number you can validate on a bill, an account statement, or an official website. Bottom line, if you don't recognize the number, don't answer. And if you do, don't hang on, hang up. Learn more at fcc.gov/spoofing.
So we recommend in our presentations, we recommend that you don't answer your phone at all. Let it go to voicemail, okay? And there will be a few things that we talk about later, why we say what we say. It's easy. These scammers are good. They're really, really good at what they do. And if they can get you on the phone, you don't know what can happen at that point. So you be in control of your destiny. My recommendation, let it go to voicemail. Then you can choose to, because a lot of times scammers won't even leave a voicemail. It'll go away, because what happens is it's a computer that's actually calling you, right? They just send out thousands and thousands and thousands of phone calls a minute, and if you pick up, then the computer lets them know, hey, somebody's here picking this up. So if you ever pick some phone up and there's like a pause of 10 seconds, that's why, is because it's from the computer to the actual person that wants to talk to you. So we recommend letting it go. If you, like my wife, she doesn't ever listen to me. She always picks up, and that's fine. I think I've convinced her now how to, hang up if it's not something that we should be engaging in. But my recommendation, let it go to voicemail. Voice cloning is kind of the second half of that. Why do I say that? Is because voice cloning back in the old days, you would have to take 2 or 3 minutes. The scammer would take 2 or 3 minutes to clone your voice. Now it's seconds. So if they get you on the line and they're talking to you and they're just trying to engage you in some kind of conversation, that could be one of the things they're doing. They could be cloning your voice. And we're going to talk about a couple scenarios where that comes into play. So just keep that in mind. If they seem to be talking to you about nonsense and just trying to engage you in conversation, and you're not really interested, but that could be one of the things that they're trying to do. So now we're going to take those bits of information that we've given you about AI, ID spoofing, and voice cloning, and we're going to talk about some scams that are going on in Green Valley as we speak. Imposter scam is just that. It's a person who pretends to be somebody else, an agency, or a person of some sort, and they're trying to gain your trust. That's a key phrase. They're trying to gain your trust. And then they go on with their scam. These are kind of the 6 broad ones that we'll talk about today.
And when we give our presentation, pay particular attention to what we call the psychological tactic. Basically, if they can get into your emotional state, if they can plug into your emotions, they can make you do virtually anything that you wouldn't do if you were clear thinking. So if you hear act fast, don't tell anybody, that's a red flag. One of the scams, pre-tax on winnings, you won $1 million, but we need for you to pay the taxes before we send you your $1 million. So send us that $10,000 tax bill and then we'll give you the rest of your money. Sadly, people still fall for that. It's effective, obviously, it's still ongoing. Steve.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
Which
right?
is bankrupt. Well, no, they said we found out it wasn't bankrupt.
It is bankrupt, but another company has bought it. Remember, if you didn't enter, you didn't win. So keep that in mind. And if nobody shows up at your front door with a big check, you didn't win, okay? And Robert always kind of talks about the greed in us a little bit. You know, we all have a little greed thrown in there.
That's an emotion.
If you didn't enter, you didn't win.
I get PayPal all the time. I do have PayPal accounts, but it's amazing to me how many people will call our office. They don't have PayPal accounts, but they get a PayPal notice. And you probably get it now on your phone all the time that someone has charged your PayPal account. Call this number. We're going to harp on that. Never, ever, ever, I'm using your stuff, Steve, ever call the number that they give you. Never hit on any links. I think that's how I was compromised with my Facebook page. I must have hit a link, introduced what we call a Trojan horse into my computer. Now they have access. Never hit links, never call back. Norton Antivirus. I live in Quail Creek, and I know we have a computer club in Quail Creek. I heard Green Valley has one too. We would strongly encourage you to join that club. Have people who have a lot more knowledge than I would to actually help you clean out your computers or identify anything that might be at risk. And then that Norton Antivirus, if you get a notice saying that your computer has been infected, please contact us. That's a very big red flag. And again, as I shared my story, that's probably what happened to me. I allowed someone to have access to my computer prior to me actually calling Apple. How many of you seen the movie Beekeeper? Not many, okay. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, if you don't like violence, don't watch the movie, because it gets really bloody at the end. But the first 10 or 15 minutes of that movie shows that actually what happens in that antivirus process. A young lady in the film, she gets a notice, there's something wrong with her computer. Please call this number, press this button, and we will help you clean your computer. And without being a spoiler, she presses the button, and they have instant access, and they wipe her out. And not only do they wipe her out, they wipe out the nonprofit she's affiliated with in the tune of millions of dollars. So again, if someone approaches you about your computer, be very wary of that.
Company impersonation. We live in southern Arizona. We have every federal agency there is down here represented in one way or another. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to get a call from Border Patrol or CBP or FBI. So the reason I preface it that way is because there are scams going on now that the person are representing these particular agencies. So we'll start at the top. The Postal Service, UPS, FedEx. During Christmas time, probably everybody at one time or another gets a missed package or bad address. Please click this link and we'll update your address to everybody. Don't click those links. Never click those links. Go to USPS secondary, USPS.gov, and figure out, make sure they have the right address for you. Don't ever click a link within a text, a body text. The next one, Sheriff's Department and FBI. I got two stories for you. These are ongoing scams. The Sheriff's Department is really ongoing. I just read last month's notifications, and it's being inundated. They're using Pima County Sheriff's Department deputies' names. And they're calling you up saying, I'm from the Pima County Sheriff's Department, I'm Deputy Clark, and I see here that we have a summons for your arrest. You missed the jury duty. There's a $600 fine in conjunction with this. We need you to pay that immediately. And you kind of hesitate a little bit, and then they go, well, if you give me your bank account and routing number, we'll take it right out of your bank account for you, and this matter will be cleaned up. No, your bank account will be cleaned up. So do not fall for this. Please, Pima County Sheriff's Department deputies will not call you. They will show up at your door at 2 o'clock in the morning to arrest you maybe, but they will not be calling you to tell you that they have a summons for your arrest or you missed a jury duty. Please don't fall for it. It's very active, okay? It's going on. I get notified once, twice, 3 times, and if I'm getting notified, you know it's happening more than that. Second one is an FBI. I tell the story because this just recently happened to a person, a couple in Green Valley. He got a phone call from a person that represented the FBI, and he indicated, he gave him his badge number, his name, the case number that he's working on, and kind of made connection with this guy. Remember, somebody talked about, one of the videos said they're here to engage in you. They want to connect with you. That's what he did. This person, the FBI agent, connected with him, knew a little bit of information about him, maybe knew where he banked, maybe knew his social security number, maybe knew his date of birth. You know, those are all things that are out there publicly anyway. So he befriended him in a way that the gentleman felt comfortable talking to him. The FBI agent convinced him that his bank account was part of a money laundering scheme and that he needed his help to catch these money scammers. So he convinced the gentleman to go down to the local bank at La Cañada and Continental and go down there and take out $45,000. And then he was to meet him, 2 agents up at the Spring Hill Suites at the marketplace in Tucson, so they knew the area. And if everybody knows where that's at, that's where Costco is and Walmart and 9 other million businesses that have gone in there. And there's a Spring Hill Suite. So they drove up there, and they get out, and they're standing in the lobby, and they were there for 15, 20 minutes. And lucky for them, an employee saw them, came out, and asked if she could help him. And he said, oh, no, we're waiting for a couple of FBI agents to come out, and we're working a case with them. And the lady turned to them and said, you need to leave. You need to leave now, because you're going to get shot or you're going to get robbed, one of the two. So he took heed, jumped in their car, took off, and first thing they did, they called me, and I was able to walk him through it. First thing I told him is take that $45,000 and go put it back in your bank account. And second of all, don't ever answer the phone from that number again, and because there's really nothing we can do at this point, right? There was never a law broken because they didn't follow through, luckily. So I understand now they've expanded that a little bit, and the FTC is involved. FCC is involved in this particular scam. They're using those names. So this is Agent Clark from the FTC. The FTC will never call you, okay? So that's an automatic giveaway. Hang up. Don't engage them. I can't stress that enough. Because they're just want to urgency, act fast, fair punishment, right? You're going to get put in jail if you don't do what we need you to do, that kind of thing. This is an actual lieutenant from the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and this is his actual picture and his actual voice.
This is Lieutenant Jeremy Olson with the Pima County Sheriff's Office. I was trying to establish contact with Emily. This call is in regards to an urgent, non-emergency legal matter that we need to discuss immediately. I need you to contact me back at 520-422. Again, this is not an emergency, but it is urgent, and I need you to contact me as soon as you receive this message. This is Lieutenant Jeremy Olson, and I'm with the Pima County Sheriff's Office.
So the first thing you do, you call that phone number, talk to Lieutenant Olson, and find out what he wants. No. No, 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 no. Never, never. Robert stole my thunder. Never, ever, ever call the number that they give you or the website that they give you. You look up Pima County Sheriff's Department, look up for Lieutenant Olson, who is a real person, and call him directly with the phone number that you have, okay? So and that, Robert and I thought that this was a 2 or 3 year old scam, but it's going on. I got a call Monday from a gentleman who said the same thing. Said that he got notified not by Lieutenant Olson but another deputy that he needed to talk to him right away. So it's an ongoing scam going on. So please be aware.
If you get a call from a relative saying that they've been arrested and they need bail money and you need to forward that money to this address, red flag. If they've been kidnapped in Mexico, red flag. If their car broke down and AAA wants money right there and then, red flag. People still fall for these, but they play on your emotions that you have a family member in trouble and you need to help them. And contact this lawyer or contact this representative and send the money by wire to this location. We should all know that it doesn't work that way.
I'd like to just add to that a little bit. So we're going through spring break right now. Little Johnny's down in Cancun having a great time. Okay. Well, little Johnny could be on social media quite a bit. So what's happened, somebody could have cloned his voice. So if you get a phone call from somebody that maybe sounds like little Johnny a little bit, Grandpa, I'm down in Cancun. I kind of got in a little bit of trouble. Can you send me some money? Here's a phone number. So what's the first thing I would do? No, I would call Mom and Dad first. Mom and Dad, is little Johnny really in Cancun? Second phone call would be call little Johnny. Are you really in Cancun? Those are a couple things. Some we didn't mention early on is our demographics. Our 55 plus demographics, we're high on the list of scammers and potentials being scammed, but also the younger generation, the 18 to 25, 27, are also very high on being scammed as well. Why? Because they got a cell phone, they're always on that cell phone. They may not understand some of the things of life learned lessons that we've all learned. So they may be a little bit more susceptible to being scammed. So on that, you see call spoofing, right? Really simple to spoof somebody and also clone their voice. So just be aware. I just wanted to add that little bit to this particular slide.
I wanted to add to that as well. If you do have young people who are just starting their credit journeys, they can get screwed up really quick, real fast. They're just getting their credit established. They'll steal their social security numbers and birthdays, et cetera, and start opening up accounts, and it takes them forever to clean it up. And like Steve said, they live on their phones. They're clicking on everything. They don't think about it. That's how they associate with each other. Steve likes this one. If you haven't heard this story, I was in my office on Tuesday. I will usually work Tuesdays from 9 to 12. That's my day. This particular day, a very elderly couple came in. And I'll let you describe what that looks like. Very elderly. The wife was irate. She was so mad. Sit down here and tell them what you did. Just sit down and tell them what you did. And I'm, okay, what's going on here? Sit down, tell him what you did. You know what he did? No, ma'am, I don't. He's been watching porn on the computer, and now we're in trouble. See this letter? They got us. And so this particular scam is it's a very bad scam, but there was a period of time where you would get a letter, it would have a picture of your house, because all our homes are on the internet. Picture of the house, next paragraph would say, you have a great community. Green Valley is wonderful. Everyone waves at each other and says hello and rides their bikes, and it's a beautiful community. Your neighbors seem really great. I just drove by your house. It's really, really great. And then the next paragraph got real dark. I'm sure your neighbors don't want everyone to know that you've been looking at child porn. And we're going to let everybody in your community know this unless you send us some money. Extortion. So this woman was highly upset because she thought her husband had got compromised. He got the letter, he was found out, said, ma'am, it's a scam. And if he's watching porn at his age, that may actually be a good thing. Well, could you tell him to stop? No, ma'am, we don't do that in SAV. But be aware that those types of scams are still out. They evolve. One thing about these scammers, they look at the news and they evolve. And one thing, when Steve showed with Jeremy Olson, I was in my office, a call came in. This gentleman, he was actually very smart. But Jeremy Olson called him, told him he had an arrest warrant out, and the scammers watched the news. So the scammers knew that the president had said something about Bitcoin being acceptable. So he convinced this gentleman to get money, to go to the Bitcoin machine, which is in the sheriff's office, get in the car, and he was going to give him a mobile escort to make sure if he ever got stopped by the police, he would free him up. So stay on the phone with me. I'm going to take you all the way to the Bitcoin machine. This guy, who was usually very smart, he got in his car, got the money. He was on his way to the sheriff's office. The scammer said, oh, I just found out our Bitcoin machine is broke. It happens all the time. It breaks down all the time. Tell you what, we have satellite places for you to go. I'm going to direct you to one of our satellite places. Stay on the phone. Don't hang up. I don't want you to get pulled over. He got to the satellite location, and the only thing that saved him was the scammer said, okay, are you at K Circle now? See, they're smart. He couldn't believe that this gentleman had actually convinced him to get in his car, stay on the phone, get all the way to K Circle, Circle K, and almost put that money in. And once you put that money in one of those crypto machines, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. So these scammers are very smart. They look at what's going on in the world, and they'll incorporate it into their schemes. But this particular one, it kind of died down for a while, but I want you to be aware that the extortion schemes are still out there. And if you do put anything on social media, anything that might be, quote unquote, a compromised type of picture, be aware that once it goes into the cloud, it's always there. You cannot delete it.
So what we're going to kind of transition to something that David's talked about already. I've got 2 slides. First slide, we'll talk about deed fraud and more of an animation version of what deed fraud is and how it evolves. Second slide is actually on Pima County, the recorders.gov/fraud notify. This is the actual YouTube video that's from that. I just took it off of their website and put it on our slide. So you'll actually see what it looks like to sign up for this, okay? Don't try to copy all the steps down, because once you go to the website, you can see the YouTube video right in front of you. It's down at the bottom of the screen, right in the middle. So we'll have 2 slides, one talking about deed fraud, and then the second one will be to reiterate basically what David has already told you in great detail.
With everything stored online these days, cyber thieves always find new ways of ripping people off. Their latest target, homeowners. The tactic used? Forging home titles. Yes, Deed fraud, according to the FBI, is one of the fastest growing crimes in America, with over 60% of home title claims being fraud related. Once hackers find your home's title and mortgage information online, they start tampering with the data by removing your name from the deeds and forging theirs instead, then refile it as its new owners. Next, they would use your home equity as collateral to take out massive loans and direct the payments to you or sell it to unsuspecting buyers. Victims of this type of property title theft could lose their homes or would have to spend thousands of dollars in court trying to defend their rights and keep something that was already theirs. And property fraud damages don't end here. Expect delays if you wish to sell your property, further legal fees for clearing up the title, and for those who have a mortgage, it could be impossible to get refinanced until the title is cleared. Therefore, detecting fraudulent activity early is vital. So make sure you are receiving all your bills, including tax bills, utilities, and mortgage bills. If this doesn't happen, it could be the first sign of potential identity theft or home title fraud. Also, make regular checks on your house information with your county's deed office. To protect your home ownership from scam artists, closely monitor your credit reports from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Even better, subscribe to a specialized property deed monitoring service to receive alerts whenever someone
Yeah, we're not going to advertise them. Okay. But I like their explanation, so that's why I used it. I'm just not going to advocate using them, as Debbie already talked about, where you can pay a monthly fee and an annual fee. So, because what I'm going to show you now is free.
Fraud Notify is a free service we offer at the Pima County Recorder's Office to alert you via email when a document is recorded using your individual or business name. Before signing up, please note that it is best to complete this process on a desktop or laptop. Go to the Pima County Recorder Self-Service Public Portal and click Fraud Notify. On the next page, click Sign Up. Fill out the registration form and click Submit at the bottom of the page. The service provider will email you a verification link. Click the link in the email to activate your account. Go to the self-service public portal and click Fraud Notify as shown in Step 1. Then click Login. Use the user ID and password you provided on the registration form. Then click Submit. On the Fraud Notify page, follow the instructions to add alerts for the individuals or businesses you wish to be notified. The pull-down allows you to select individual, business, or both names. Type an individual name, last name first, or business name in the text box. Click Add Alert to add the name to your list of alerts on the right. Use Add Names to create alerts on multiple names. Click the garbage can to delete an alert. Be sure to click Save at the bottom right corner when finished.
So you've seen that email address, recorder.pima.gov. I recommend /fraud notify. That'll take you directly right to the page itself. I gave this presentation about a month ago for the first time and to a nice audience, and I just got bombarded with questions. And I didn't know any of the answers. It was all new to me. So the first thing I did is I went home, I called the recorder directly. I identified myself, and I explained to her what I was needing this information for, and she was very helpful. And she explained everything, the whole process to me. So I'm going to, in my words, give you exactly what she told me. First thing is they highly recommend that you sign up for this. It, again, is free. And Debbie already kind of stole my thunder a little bit. Once you sign up, anybody, you want to sign up if your name is on the deed. Okay? She recommended that if you, even putting in your nicknames, maybe maiden names, the only hesitancy that I give to that is because if you put your, on the alert section, the more names you put in there, the more chances you'll be getting notified, and it could be false. But the other is it could be a real fraud. Your full trust name, okay, put your full trust name in there. If you got people underneath the trust, put their names. You can put as many people in there as you want. You're not limited. LLC, put your LLC name in there. So the more the better. The problem is, if you're lucky to be a Robert Clark, and how many Robert Clarks are in Pima County?
A whole lot.
A whole bunch. So if something happens under Clark / ROB, because they only use the first 3 letters, ROB, he's going to get notified. Okay, so just if you're blessed to have a Clark, Smith, Wilson, last names, you may get notified. And so just be aware of that. My recommendation, call the recorder, tell them that you're part of Fraud Notify and you got notified. And they will walk you through it. It may be not your property, it could be your property. Debbie told me something I didn't realize is if you do get notified, there's a red banner that comes across. Does it flash? Okay, red flashing banner, and it'll say they're from the Pima County Recorder's Office. Okay, so that will tell you right away that who it's from. She also stressed that the quicker the better to call them if you're notified, because what happens is that there's generally a 30-day window from going to the recorder, going up to the assessor's office. So that's your window. You want to contact them and get whatever kind of situation's going on. If it is a fraudulent, that's the time you want to deal with it before it gets to the assessor's office. Seems like I'm missing something. Okay. I can't think of anything else that she told me. But you've gotten a whole bunch of information now on deed fraud. The ball's in your court. I know what I wanted to say is that, as Debbie already talked about, is that the recorder's office, if somebody comes in with a quitclaim deed and has their ID, has been notarized, they're required by law to process it, okay, at this point. That's why I'm a big advocate of what these folks are doing, because I think I would like a little bit more beefing up of that statute. So I recommend getting with these folks and signing a petition or doing whatever you need to do to try to help protect yourself, because that's what we're doing. We're protecting ourselves from this. She met him on the internet. He said he lived in a gated community. So.
But I always like to add, the federal penitentiaries do a good job at monitoring criminals, but the state and the locals, there have been instances where people are actually conducting scams from jail. They get access. So even though that's our comedic relief, it does happen.
And then romance scam, it pretty much speaks for itself. We've kind of already talked about it in length. Just be aware. You guys are educated now. Everybody in this room are now educated, but you have neighbors. You have folks that live down the street. You may have elderly folks next to you in your neighborhood. You know, talk to them. Make sure they understand that they can come to you and you can kind of, because if somebody says, oh, I met this really, really nice guy online, and he seems like the only problem is he's in Nigeria, and I'm sending him money. Hey,
we actually have a video.
We have
for
a video of that,
yeah.
and it's so heartbreaking to see people. We have a gentleman in.
Don't say.
I can't think of the name of the
local place.
What?
A local place.
A local place. And he's been involved in this romance scam for years. And luckily, the daughter, I think the daughter and the staff have taken access to his accounts, so he can't give away any more money. But he still believes it. We go every year to this particular place, and he's still communicating with her. So just be aware. We're just going to touch briefly on Money Mules. Money Mules is just that there's a line of victims. The last person wants Bitcoin. So you could be, Glenda is going to explain what a money mule is and how she fell into it.
We have to get back to our office. We have a minor emergency that we have to get taken care of. If you need to contact the Green Valley Council, it's 648-1936 or info@gvcouncil.org. I'm going to thank you again for coming out. If you have any other suggestions on programs or information that you feel would benefit you as a community, contact us. And thank you all again. We have to boogie.
And we're almost done, so we'll not hold you up much longer. But we want to go through a couple things. So Glenda here is going to explain how she got involved in a money mule situation.
A romance scam.
My name is Glenda, and I'm 81 years old. In 2014, I met the love of my life online, and he told me that he was a U.S. citizen and was working in Nigeria. He asked me for money to help with his business and help leave Nigeria. Then my love had people send me electronics like cell phones so I could pawn them and send him the money. When I couldn't get the money that he wanted, he asked me to open personal and business bank accounts. Since 2015, bank employees, local police officers, and federal agents told me that my love was a scam and that I needed to stop or I could go to jail. I didn't listen to anyone else but my love, the love I've never seen nor spoken to. Now I don't have a choice of whom I'll listen to. On November the 2nd, 2021, I pled guilty to 2 federal felonies. I'll be listening to the judge now.
So poor Glenda didn't realize what she was doing, opened these bank accounts. It's called money laundering, okay? So she didn't realize that was happening, but she was part of it. And she was warned, and that's what got her in bigger trouble, is she was warned that she was part of this scheme. So we'll talk a little bit about tips and tricks. Again, we'll listen to this message first.
Identity theft happens. It's an unfortunate fact of modern life. But there are certain steps you can take to help keep your personal information from falling into the wrong hands. Every day you do things to protect what's most important to you. And you know what? You do them almost automatically. Routine things like looking both ways before you cross, brushing your teeth, and buckling your seatbelt. Another routine to get into is keeping tabs on your identity and personal information. Here are 5 easy ways you can do it. Read your credit card and bank statements carefully and often. Know your payment due dates. If a bill doesn't show up when you expect it, look into it. Read the statements from your health insurance plan. Make sure the claims paid match the care you got. Shred any documents with personal and financial information. Review each of your 3 credit reports at least once a year. It's easy and it's free. And before you know it, protecting your personal information can be as routine as locking your doors at night. For more tips and tools on dealing with identity theft, visit ftc.gov/ID theft. That's ftc.gov/ID theft.
Mail, shred your mail. Make sure any statements, financial statements, junk mail, make sure those get shredded, okay? Because they'll probably have your name and address and stuff on there. Make sure those get shredded. And then some of the other things they talked about, checking your medical savings, your Medicaid and Medicare and those kind of things. Check those statements as well. Make sure those are actual. Somebody came up to me before the presentation and said, I just got one a couple weeks ago and it had all these different procedures that it wasn't me. So she contacted her Medicare people and they've now she's got a new card and different things. So just be aware, just kind of make sure things are on the up and up.
Go ahead. We're going to run through them. So we'll be really quick with the last couple of slides. In reference to social media, again, if you have social media and you're public, everyone in the world can see you. So the more restricted you are, only me, nobody can see you. So you heard of my Facebook story about getting compromised. I actually now have 3 Facebook pages. I have one that all of you guys can find me. It's okay, I like y'all, you're all right. You can find me. I have one only for family, and I have an incognito one where I spy on everybody else. So you don't see it. The incognito is only me. No one in the world can see it but me. And also in terms of your passwords, I, again, shared the story that I changed my password. I was making it very elaborate, and I thought I was being really smart, but unfortunately I was compromised, and he saw what I was doing. Well, if you're not compromised, try to make your password as extensive as possible. Exchange letters for numbers, for symbols, etc. Make it very complex, and try to change it every month. I know, but if they get one, I have 3 sets of passwords, one for financials, one for social media, and one for other things. And I just change them up. I'll switch little things here. And eventually they're going to go to, the numbers now. We're not going to be able to actually change passwords. They're going to do number. Right, passcodes. So it's not there yet. And so it's not there. We really strongly advise you to change it. The more complex it is, it would take a hacker 34,000 years, even with their computer technology, to figure it out. And if you're changing it all the time, it makes you less accessible. And these are the different monitoring services. When I got compromised, I ended up getting LifeLock, and we don't promote any of these. But I like LifeLock. I always make the statement that all of us will wake up in the morning, have our coffee and breakfast, and we go out in the world and we try to do good things. The hackers will get up, have their coffee and breakfast, and they spend the next 8 hours trying to get us. So we can't look at our credit profiles 24/7. So for me, it's LifeLock. Anytime I do anything, if I go to the ATM and take money out, LifeLock will send me a little message saying, is this you? If it's me, I press the little green button, all is well. If it's not me, I press the red button. They go into a process to try to prevent whatever's happening from happening. Again, we don't promote them, but so many corporations have been compromised. You might have gotten a letter saying your name, your social security number, your birthday is now on the dark web, and these companies will offer you the opportunity of using one of these platforms. I would take advantage of that. It's free. That way you have some eyes, as Steve talked about, extra eyes always looking at your information. And last but not least, the 3 credit bureaus. Do you all know how to freeze your credit? If you don't, well, contact us. We have a document we can send to you.
Yeah, really all you have to do is just Google each one of the 3 and go to their website. And on their website, you can individually sign in. You'd have to sign and make a profile with them. I highly recommend doing this, going in and freezing your accounts. What does that mean? That means your husband, your wife can't go out and buy a new car on your watch if you've got them frozen. Okay, if somebody is trying to open up something, a credit card, a new car, a new home purchase, and they're frozen, your accounts are frozen, all three of them are frozen, it will not happen. It will not happen. I contest to that. I just did it not long ago. And quick story, we went to a home show and Verizon was selling, they were leasing these little boxes that you can do hotspots with for internet purposes. And I thought, oh, my blank internet service in town is really crappy. And so I thought, well, maybe this would work, you know. So I kind of went in line. I told them that I'd like to sign up to get it. It's $22 a month. And as she's asking me these questions, just general questions, name and address, and she asked me for my Social Security number. And I thought, why is she asking me? I'm thinking to myself, Social Security number, that seems kind of an odd question. And so I reluctantly gave it to her, and she ran it, and it came back immediately. It says, denied. And she goes, oh, it's been denied. And I said, well, yeah, because you ran my credit report on me, and I have them all frozen. You won't ever get, they'll never accept anything that if you have a frozen account. So she goes, well, here, I can unfreeze it for you. And I said, thanks a lot, goodbye. So it ticked me off just because she ran my credit history and didn't ask me. First of all, that made me mad. But I knew kind of what she was up to at that point. My point is, it's a very good service. If you got LifeLock, I got Identity Guard. You can do that with a slide of a button on those apps, and they'll lock it for you, freeze them. They'll unfreeze them for you. You see, I keep going like this, is because that's all you have to do is slide it one way or another. But you can also go and sign up for them and do it within the actual credit agency. Again, these are for new purchases. It's not, I have to make this clear because I confused people last time I did this. It's not, you're not freezing your credit cards. You can still use your credit cards at Walmart, at Amazon, and things like that. This is new purchases. This is new credit cards that you want to buy. Or you want to get a new BMW and you want to finance it. Then you'll have to unfreeze your accounts. You can do it temporarily. You can do it a day. You can do it a week, a month, or you set the parameters. You're in charge of this, but in this particular thing. So just be aware. Highly recommend it. Yes. So say
It
that
prevents
again,
them
so
from
everybody-
taking a loan against your house.
If I have my credit card froze, can they still take my home deed?
It prevents new credit from being taken against
Yes.
your house. No new accounts.
It won't prevent the deed fraud. However, if you remember what David talked about and then what the video talked about, why do they want to do a deed fraud? They want the money, and they want to leave the money like a line of credit. They want to leave that in your name, so you have to pay it back. They can't do it because your accounts are frozen. So they won't be able to open up a line of credit in your name. No.
I had every month from TMC Hospital Pharmacy, I get medicine through a courier. I got a Somalian this last time, and he asked me if I owned my house. So be aware. I told him.
Good. Thank you for the tip.
Yes, sir.
I've been scammed a couple of times through some major mail order companies throughout the country. We're all familiar with them. I'm not going to mention their names, but I've canceled at least 3 of them because they somehow get the information that I don't want them to have, like my social security number, my phone number especially, and other things as well. And I've got like $300 or $400 worth that were charged on somebody, my credit card that they used. So it's very, very careful depending on what major company you're going to be working with. By phone, by mail order, by a website, there's all kinds of ways you can do this.
Yeah.
And especially if you're talking to people personally and then they want that information, that's a no-no.
Yep, exactly. Let's buzz through a couple more slides and then we're almost done. Be your own investigator. I can't stress that enough. Be your own investigator. Be your own, you're the last line of defense. Because if you're actually scammed, what's the chances of getting that money back? Very, very slim. Slim to none and slim left. And so be very aware, be your own investigator. This particular one just talks about
Well, text, if you look at the first 2 letters of any phone number, if you're in the United States, it's 01. Anything that's not 01 means it's not in the United States. Be very aware of those numbers that come across.
I was just trying to see if you could see it, but
I
up
think
at
it's
the top
63.
Is a different, yeah.
I don't know what country that is, but it's not U.S.
Nope,
The
there
Philippines.
you go. Thank you. And then also, there's a link down at the bottom. Never click on links. This is kind of an older one where PayPal is, you know, they've gotten better where the logo looks unofficial. Spaces, remember what we said the very first slide, that a lot of these scams originate from third world countries, other countries that probably English isn't their first language. Well, if they're typing up something, it could be that their language, interpretation of the English language could be different than ours that we would normally see. So weird sounding sentences and, you know, spaces after colons and that kind of stuff. This one I really want to hit on, gift cards and cryptocurrency. If any business out there is asking you to pay in gift cards or cryptocurrency, I can honestly tell you, standing in front of you, that's a scam. Okay, there's no business out there that I've been aware of that will take or encourage you to pay by gift card or cryptocurrency. Okay, so if you're talking to somebody and they say, oh, go get a gift card, luckily in Green Valley, we're very fortunate that we have people here in Green Valley, Walgreens, Safeway, Walmart, they look out for us. And a lot of the banks here in town will look out for us. And if things don't sound right or people are trying to take large sums of money in gift cards, they'll probably ask you, you know, kind of what's going on? Why are you needing this kind of money? Identify, independently verify information. I want to mention this. If you Google something, I didn't realize this, but if you Google something, you've heard me say it a couple times now, just Google it, verify, you know, get a phone number from Pima County Sheriff's Department, that kind of thing. Remember, on Google, the first few are sponsored websites, okay? I never realized that. And so those are sponsored. They pay money to be up at the top of those lists. So if you're doing Pima County Sheriff's Office or County Office, go down a little farther and look, and you'll see where Pima County's Sheriff's Office is located. You can click on that.
Yeah, the scammers are actually paying to host sites, and there are a couple of businesses that had gotten their
In town.
sites stolen, and the scammers put their information up, and unfortunately people contacted them first.
Again, just we highly recommend if you do get involved in a particular scam or you believe you're part of a scam, give us a call. You have our phone numbers. We have good people that work every day. If they don't know the answer, I've instructed them to get with me. I've done this for 20 years, so I've kind of seen a lot of different variations and different things when it comes to scams. So have them, if they don't seem to know the answer, that's fine. I've told them, don't give out bad information, just have them contact me and I'll walk you through it. So again, I can't reiterate, thank you very much for coming out. This is our best way of getting the information out to you. Please tell your neighbors, your friends, your enemies, tell everybody, help them and to help themselves, okay? Because now you guys are the experts in town, okay? So we'll give the microphone, we'll answer a few questions for you. I have Shelley in the back and Shani and Sophia here. If you got some other questions you want to ask them directly after this, please ask them as well. Go ahead.
Couple of things. I was scammed this last summer, phishing my credit union's phone number. And they asked the same questions that my credit union always asks when I call. So fortunately got caught fairly quickly. So I only lost about $1,100. So one thing I found out from my credit union, which I noticed wasn't brought up, I don't know if all banks do it. I've now got a passphrase set up with them. So when I call them, or if they have to call me, usually it's me calling them, they will ask for that security phrase. And the scammers tried for a week after, when I caught on to them, I wouldn't answer the call. I was having fun with them. And I'd let them go on and on. I said, well, you're obviously not from my credit union because you haven't, I didn't say security phrase, but I said you haven't done the security check. So you're a liar and a scammer. Goodbye. The second thing I wanted to mention really quick, some of these big companies like PayPal, you can report phishing to them. And I have done that. So you take the email you get that looks like it's from them, you can forward it to, some of them like have phishing at in their name, or others use scam at what their name. You can find out what it is. So that's something else I'd recommend you do.
Okay. One thing I don't want you to do that he said is to play with them. Don't encourage them, okay? Just be aware. Don't encourage. I don't encourage you to mess with them too much. Okay, go ahead.
Early on in the one of the slides, it said flag your Social Security number with the Social Security Administration. What is that?
It said flag.
Flag your Social Security number with the Social Security Administration.
Oh, I think that was.
That was Dave's presentation. I'm not too sure about that. I know the IRS will give you a PIN number if you've ever been compromised. You contact the IRS and they will give you a PIN number to put on your tax documents so that no one else can do it because of scammers. Steve, every season is a special season for them. Now we're in tax season, so there's going to be a lot of scams revolving around taxes. And if they have your Social Security number and address, they can actually file a tax form in your name and have money go somewhere else. So the IRS, if you have a PIN number, that will stop that form from being processed. Yes, sir.
I had a situation last week, and actually I should say my wife had the situation. We had our alarm go off for someone entering our, courtyard, basically it's a garage alarm type thing. But anyway, my wife went and answered the door. It was one of the fraudsters that is trying to get up to give a quote, free, unquote, roof inspection. Well, she said, this is the gated community. There's a sign out there that is posted. You're not to be in here. You're trespassing. Leave now. And he kept insisting that she shake her hand, and she refused. And he kept pushing his hand out there, insisting that she shake her hand. She said she would not. They were to leave the compound. And he called her rude, everything else. What I'm concerned about is some of the people where they've taped your voice and all, now where they could use the miniature recorders and cameras where they take you and you shake their hand, and now they say, you've just acknowledged that we asked this and you've made agreement to it, and you may lock yourself in. I don't know if that's possibility or not, but it may be a new twist on things. This one particular party did not leave the area. We found out he made it to several other people down the road, and they basically gave him the same thing, get the hell out of here. And he stayed in the area. And I'm going to be posting my own property separate, even though our gated community is posted, so I can basically ratchet up. And if we get a person who refuses to leave, who do we contact? Because is it the actual sheriff?
If they're dumb enough to show up at your door, that means they're in the territory. Again, we stated that if a scammer is in Maricopa County, we can't do anything to them, but if they're dumb enough to actually operate here, where we can get hands on them, you contact the sheriff's office, and they'll come in. Well, he's already trespassing because he's in your gated community. And plus, if they're that bold, by the way, that means they probably have been successful in other areas. So if they do get caught and there's a record of them having done this, compromise other people, that may be good enough to get them locked up.
Go ahead. He had a couple. Thanks, Tony.
I'm unclear about one thing, and that is I did put a fraud alert on my property yesterday. And if you get a fraud alert, do we call the recorder's office?
Yes.
And then they tell us what to do next?
They'll tell you, they'll first verify that it's your property that's in question.
Okay.
Because remember, I used the example of Robert Clark, and there's umpteen thousand Robert Clarks in Pima County. So they'll verify that it's you, that the actual person is your property is the one that's affected.
The other thing I have done is I have gone to Google Chrome and asked about frauds. Is it true that this is happening before I even act? And they say they describe it down to a T for you. So there is an option to check on that. And there is people in the AI that run videos. One was Gates and Gupta, and they were selling something to help dementia. Absolutely perfect. Voice quality, everything. Went online and checked that out, and they said it's a fraud.
Yeah.
So they wanted you to buy this. So you can go to AI, ironically, and they will help you out.
Yes, yes, they will. Good tip. I appreciate that.
One entity you have not mentioned at all is Nextdoor. There are a lot of people in Green Valley on Nextdoor. And a couple of weeks ago, I had 2 items posted that were totally unrelated to each other. And I got a response from this woman, same wording in both. You know, send me, I'm interested, I'm going to buy them, send me your phone number. And I thought, my bohemian grandmother never would let me do something stupid like this. So I did not do that. And I told her, I said, I'm in Green Valley because I looked up her profile and she was from somewhere close by. I don't remember if it was Vail or Sierra Vista or wherever. So I did not answer her. She came back. She kept on pushing. And every time I pulled up her profile, it was from a different city. And I thought, something's not right here. So I went in and reported her to Nextdoor and went back and I asked her, because my husband said, maybe she's a robot. And I thought, well, I'm going to ask her. So I said, are you a robot? And it wasn't even a minute later, I went in and she had stripped all of her responses, her original post, her profile, everything else. And Nextdoor came back and said, this sounds fraudulent, we're investigating, thank you for reporting it. So anybody that's on Nextdoor, and don't pay attention to their English language use of capital letters, pronouns, colons, semicolons, or anything else, because there's a lot of people in here that just type it all out. One long sentence that's got nothing. So there's a lot of things to watch out for on Nextdoor too.
Well, I'm going to just take that one step further. Nextdoor, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all those open type of programs out there are good, but they're all susceptible to particular scams. So Nextdoor isn't just the one. Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh. Yes, I want. Administration said, we'll lock it. You won't be able to get statements. At the end of the year, you'll get your statement telling what your benefits will be next year. But you can't even access it. But if you want to unlock it, come back in, show us the proper credentials, and we'll unlock it. But this will protect you against anybody getting into the Social Security number and using it.
Good.
Just
Good. You know, I think...
Steve, I just want to add one thing. How many of you go to voicemail and you leave your own voice on the message? How many of you? Honestly. Okay. You know what? They're cloning it. So if you go on and have a digital response, companies provide it. Also, they have a new system now that they call, and the AI will come on the phone and say, this party would like you to identify who you are and so forth, and then leave a message. That's okay, because it's tracking, it's protecting you. So think about a digital voicemail as opposed to your own, because it's cloned. Thank you.
I think I'm gonna cut it off there. If you have a question, come up and talk to me directly. Again, we have Shiny, Sophia, and Robert. We all can answer any of your questions. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.